So we had another tragedy in bodybuilding yesterday. A friend of mine, Shawn Rhoden, passed away. Apparently, he passed away in his sleep. Appears to be heart-related. Tragedy. I didn't know George much. I knew John a lot. John was a close friend of mine. This one hits home. We're pretty close. We talk a lot. When I announced the Rumble in the Burrow to benefit kids with cancer, I launched it. I didn't even invite anyone. Shawn was the first one to message me out of nowhere and said, I'll be there on my dime. He had a personal experience with cancer, and I don't think people understand how good of a guy Shawn Rhoden is and was, and how his soul will live on through eternity. Such a good person. You know, obviously his end of his career was plagued by whatever was going on. I'm not going to comment on that. That's beyond the scope of this video. But it's tragedy. How did I hear about it? So I was in California Monday through Wednesday this week. Thursday, I drove out to Illinois, spent a day with my brother, had a business thing going on there. And then I picked up a new puppy. We got a new golden doodle. So I was driving home, and at around 10 a.m., I got a text from Phil Heath. And Phil's like, dude, Shawn Rhoden just died. And it hit hard. We've lost a lot of good people. You know, I didn't know George as much. Obviously, I was very close with John. I was closer to Shawn than probably all of them. And I'm not saying that we went to family Christmas dinners together. I'm just saying that, you know, we were pretty close. We talked, and he supported what I did. I supported what he did. Just got a new supplement contract with a new company. He was doing pretty well. And then he passed away, apparently, from what I hear, in his sleep. And, I mean, at least it was apparently pain-free. And he can move on to the next phase, and God rest his soul. I got into a lot of issues by talking about this on the last video when George passed away. Look, man, bodybuilders die, okay? We take risks. We take performance-enhancing drugs. We take, speaking we as a community, things like insulin, growth hormone, diuretics. Shawn had no intention of getting on stage. He was a little big. He was like 300 pounds. We've seen bodybuilding deaths before. Kidney failure, Mike Matarazzo. You had diuretic abuse, Munzer. You had all those things. What we're seeing now is acute cardiac issues in bodybuilders. And we have to ask ourselves, I'm going to say it again, because we need to brace ourselves for what's going to happen, not just in the bodybuilding community, but in our own community across the world. I have neighbors dealing with this right now. What sometimes forced medical procedure has come about in the past year that is causing all these bodybuilders, a lot of them we don't even talk about, they're from Europe, where medical procedure mandates have been put into place. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist, not a scientist. I'm just a guy who reads studies, interprets them, and gives my opinion. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, I normally have pretty educated takes based on the data available. I'm looking at correlation here. I know correlation isn't anything that I usually write home about. Correlative data simply gives us something to use to make concrete data, to design a study around. But I'm seeing a lot of friends, I'm seeing a lot of kids, a lot of athletes. There's a lot of cardiac issues going on. And I don't think we've seen the last of this. I think we're going to lose many good people and many good friends. I will say that here is what I think's happening. And I said this in the George video, right? I think that bodybuilders have enlarged hearts. I think that athletes have enlarged hearts. In fact, I know this. Whether on performance-enhancing drugs, aka steroids, or not, an athlete will have an enlarged heart due to the stress we put on our hearts by training hard, by all this different activity we do, especially, high burst interval activity, like weightlifting, like sprinting, like soccer. Think about soccer. You're jogging, you're sprinting. You're jogging, you're sprinting. Huge cardiac demands. And then in the case of bodybuilders, we have thicker blood, you know? We have thicker blood than the average person. It's just what happens. Hematocrit, testosterone, even those on HRT. That's the reason, one of the reasons I donate blood, because I have thicker blood to keep my hematocrit levels down, because I am on testosterone replacement therapy. I am on injectable exogenous testosterone. When you combine a medical procedure that has the potential to increase your risk of things like pericarditis and myocarditis, and also has the potential to increase your risk of blood clots, and then you combine it with a lifestyle and potentially some exogenous substances that will increase the thickness of your blood and will enlarge your heart, it was a happy moment. I got my puppy, was driving home, and then I heard about my friend passing, and I've done too many of these videos, 3 of them this year. And I don't think that it's going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop. And I'm not going to say what bodybuilders I talked to, but we're seeing it. And if you're a bodybuilder who had this medical procedure, I want you to take extra special care. I want you to go get your EKGs. One of my doctors, I'm a hypochondriac for my health. I am. One of my doctors told me that the blood work after getting this medical procedure he's seeing in patients, AST, ALT, and liver markers are through the roof, almost to the point of liver failure indicators. And RBC, or red blood cell counts, are all messed up. So if you have had this medical procedure, I want you to take extra special care. I want you to get EKGs. I want you to get body scans. And I want you to get with some health professionals that could potentially give you some medications to mitigate what this medical procedure could have potentially done to your body. And again, this is all my conjecture. It's my guess. I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to anything I say. I'm an idiot. But me simply telling you to talk to your doctor, me simply telling you to take extra steps to ensure that you're in cardiovascular and heart health, I think that's good medical advice. Back to the topic at hand. Rest in peace, Shawn Rhoden. The charitable actions that you did for myself, my family, and the organizations that we donated to will never be forgotten. One of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. And it's sad to see you go so soon. I was looking forward to hanging out with you in the next year. But guys, this won't be the last video I do, unfortunately. I think we're going to have a lot more. And it's going to be tough. But until we wake up and we look around and we evaluate things objectively, and not from a herd standpoint, not from a tribal standpoint, we actually look at things, look at data, I'm scared. I'm scared of what we're doing. I'm scared of what's going to happen. I'm scared for the 5 to 11-year-olds. I'm scared for everybody. Again, this procedure might be for some, but to blanket put it on everybody and to have this medical procedure done at random places like zoo parking lots and convention centers, this is something you need to talk to your doctor about. I mean this from the heart, and I risk getting my channel shadow banned, although it already is. And I'm not going to say the key terms, but I'm upset. I'm sad. People are going to be like, oh, it's not that. It's the steroid. We've been taking steroids forever, guys. When have we seen so many bodybuilders keel over from heart problems like this? We don't. It's just not a thing. We'll see a few, but come on, John, George, Shawn, those Europeans, be safe, be careful. God bless.